I request Chanchal Agarwal ma'am to please take over the session.
Thank you so much, Priyanka ji. A hearty and warm welcome to every one of you for joining this session. Today's second session of revision. Yes, namaste
Madam,
and
namaste, madam.
yes, namaste, sir. Namaste. Namaste to every one of you.
Namaste.
So, yes, namaste. So today is again a very, very important session as we had it yesterday. Today we'll be understanding and revising the basics of human body, the subject related to semester 1. Okay, so definitely basics of human body is a big chapter. It's a huge topic, and understanding and revising everything in 1.5 hours would be too much, but still we'll try our best so that we make it short, we make it crisp, and we understand the subject in that 1.5 hours only. Okay, so sit with a paper, pen, diary, whatever you have, so that you just note down the important points so that you can revise it whenever it is needed, and especially for examination purpose you have to revise the whole thing. So let us start the subject where we have 5 chapters in the syllabus. In semester 1 we have first 5 chapters as a syllabus. First chapter is homeostasis, right? So let us start with first chapter only. First chapter is homeostasis. What is the meaning of homeostasis? Homeostasis, homeo means balancing. Stasis means bringing to balance. So in our body, there must be some system to bring everything to balance. Understand this. What is homeostasis? Homeostasis means bringing everything to its balanced state. That is called homeostasis. And for homeostasis, we have different activities in the body where some activities are energy guided and some activities are without any expenditure or without any use of energy. So some processes are called active process, some processes are called passive process. So what we understood in this chapter is, in homeostasis is balancing the body. And for balancing the body, we have some active processes and some passive processes. Active process means a process that needs energy. That means there will be expenditure of energy. Energy is needed. Passive processes means energy is not needed. Energy is not needed. Okay, so in some cases you will see there is expenditure of energy and after that the process is happening. But in case of passive process, for example diffusion, there is no expenditure of energy. So these are different processes to balance the body and bringing the body to homeostasis. So this was a small understanding about homeostasis. So see, we are only doing the brief or the concise or the gist part of the chapter. It is not the detailed study. Let us come to the second part. What is the second chapter or the second part? The second part or the second chapter talks about cell. Okay. When we talk about cell, we must have understood and we must have read about cell in the younger classes, smaller classes, right? So cell is actually the basis or the base of any living organism. Why only human being? Any living organism. So our body is made up of smallest units called cell. So if this is a wall and these are the bricks, so each brick acts like one cell. So this is one cell. It is equivalent to one cell. So 1 cell, 2 cell, 3 cell, 4, 5, 6, 7. So many bricks are making one wall. So So bricks are making one wall. Similarly, the cells make up the body. So this body may be any living organism. Okay, so if I take out one brick from the wall and I say, okay, let us see what this wall is made up of. What is the structure of this wall? Similarly, from the human body, let us take out one cell and see what is this cell. What does this cell look like? What is it made up of? What are its different structures? What are its different parts? What are the functions of different parts? Then we'll see that this cell may be of different shapes and sizes. Some cells are rectangular, some cells are pointed ends, some cells are long, some cells are cylindrical, some cells are spherical, right? So let us take one general cell where the main features are, it has some structure in it, which is actually the brain of the cell. We have brain, so we work with that brain. Similarly, every cell has a brain, and this brain is nothing but the nucleus. So how will you remember this nucleus as? Nucleus is actually the brain of the cell. Apart from this nucleus, we have some areas which act like kitchen. In the home, we have one defined area which we call as kitchen. Similarly, you have a kitchen in the cell, and this kitchen is nothing but, it is called mitochondria. Since it is cooking something for the body, that means cooking means producing energy for the body, so it is also called powerhouse of cell. So we have one structure called nucleus, another structure called mitochondria, third structure is somewhere near nucleus only, where it forms a network like structure, and we call it ER. What is ER? ER means endoplasmic reticulum. What is the function of endoplasmic reticulum? This endoplasmic reticulum may have some small structures present on it, and depending on that, we call it rough endoplasmic reticulum. If that circular structure, those dots are absent, then we call it smooth endoplasmic reticulum. If this network has these granular structures on it, then we call it rough endoplasmic reticulum. So if it is rough endoplasmic reticulum, that means it has ribosomes present on it. Then we say that it synthesizes protein. So it helps in synthesis of protein. But what if these ribosomes are absent? Then this network gives strength to the cell. That means it gives mechanical support to the cell, because it is a network, it's a net, it's a mesh which is giving support to the cell. Okay. Another important structure of the cell is there are some tubular structures present which are called Golgi bodies. Golgi bodies. Now these Golgi bodies are nothing but the storehouse of protein. So one is nucleus, number 2 is mitochondria, number 3 endoplasmic reticulum, number 4 Golgi body. One more structure is present here, and these structures are quite dangerous to talk about, because these are called suicidal bags. Suicidal bags, and it is nothing but lysosome. So if someone asks you what is the other name for lysosome, then we'll say lysosomes are also called the suicidal bags of the cell. Why do we call it suicidal bag? Because these are the cells, or these are the structures that will destroy germs. G. Okay, germs. Right? So this is a basic idea about cell. You'll get several pictures on internet with different features of the cell, different parts of the cell. So this is a common, very simple, simplest of all structure of cell. Okay. Now, after cell, another important part which we should remember is tissue. So what are tissues? So we said that one small structure is called cell, and these small unicellular structures, when joined together, they form a structure which is called tissue. And many such tissues, when they join together, one tissue joins with another tissue and another tissue, then they form another bigger structure which is called organ. When different organs work together to perform one function, so these are different organs. So these are functioning together, made up of different type of tissues. They're functioning together, then they form a system. Okay, so this is one cell. Cell forms a type of tissue. Tissue forms organ. For example, lung is an organ. Trachea is a part of it. Bronchi is a part of it. Nostrils are part of it. Larynx, pharynx are part of it. And they are together forming a system called respiratory system. Okay, so that is the importance of tissue in the body. So this particular structure, tissue, these tissues may be of different types. What are the different types of tissues? It may be epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue means a tissue which forms any type of covering. Covering may be external, covering may be internal. Understand this and remember this. Whenever you get any type of covering, for example, on the surface, in the buccal cavity, there is a membranous structure that is nothing but epithelial tissue. On the organs, there is a covering that is nothing but epithelial tissue. So wherever you get a covering, that is nothing but epithelial tissue. Another type of tissue which is present in the body is connective tissue. This connective tissue can be of different types, but ultimately the function is to connect. One most common example of connective tissue is, any idea? Most common connective tissue? Give one example there.
Blood.
Sorry? Yes,
Blood.
very good. Blood. Blood. There are many examples. There are many examples. One most common example is blood. Blood is a connective tissue. One other type of tissue which is present in the body is muscular tissue. So epithelial tissue means any type of layer covering. Connective tissue means to connect. Muscular tissue means muscles, which forms muscles. Now this muscular tissue may be voluntary, it may be involuntary, or it may be cardiac. So these are the three most important types of muscular tissue. What is the meaning of voluntary? Voluntary muscular tissue is a type of tissue that works with your will. आपकी इच्छा से काम करता है. That is voluntary. Involuntary means the type of muscular tissue that does not depend on your will. वो अपनी इच्छा से काम करते हैं. Does not depend on will. And cardiac, that forms heart. तो हार्ट की अपनी पहचान है, वो अपना ही मस्कुलर टिश्यू उसने बना रखा है. So example of voluntary means you want to raise your hand, so you're raising your hand, so this is voluntary. Involuntary means that is not under your will. Even if you don't want to swallow, the muscles are working inside, so that is involuntary. Lung muscles are working itself. Involuntary. Your esophagus, your small intestine are showing different type of movement. That is involuntary. It does not depend on your will. You don't guide your small intestine. Okay, now you start the peristaltic movement. Now you start the other type of movement. So this type of movement, which does not depend on the type of muscles that does not work according to your will, are called involuntary muscles. Cardiac muscle are the muscles that forms the structure of heart. That is cardiac muscle. Okay. Another type of tissue which is present in your body is called nervous tissue. Nervous tissue means the tissue that forms nerve or the nerves in your body. Those type of tissues are called nervous tissue. Okay, so each cell which is forming the nervous tissue is called neuron. Different cells form one tissue, correct? So nervous tissue is made up of neurons. Neurons are the cells, the unit of nervous tissue. Another type of, number 5, another type of tissue is fluid tissue. Now this fluid tissue it may be a part of connective tissue. As you said, blood. Blood is an example of fluid tissue, but blood is also a type of connective tissue. So blood is a fluid connective tissue. So this is about your tissues. So first we understood about homeostasis. Next we understood about cell. Then we discussed about tissue. Now next let us come to another chapter which is very, very important, not only from the examination point of view, but also from diagnosis and treatment purpose. Whenever we'll be treating a patient, we'll use this chapter again and again because this talks about blood. What is blood? Whenever you see a report, CBC means complete blood count. Okay, so you get to know about different terms. What are the different terms we get to know about? One is RBC. Second one is WBC. Third one is platelets. Most important ones. Okay, simplest. I'm telling you in the most simple language. RBC, WBC, and platelets. Now, what about RBC? What about WBC? And what about platelets? Whenever we are discussing, we'll discuss with some common terminologies. For example, when we start with RBC. RBC, what is the shape of the cell? Shape is biconcave. What is the shape of RBC? It is biconcave. What is the meaning of biconcave? Concave means like this. So bi means 2. Concave means with a groove. So biconcave means something like this. So if you see the cell from horizontal view, that means from the side view, you will see it like this. Or from the top, if you see it, you will see there's a groove. There's a depression in the center. Why this depression is there? Because there is no nucleus. Why there is no nucleus? All the cells must have nucleus because nucleus is the brain of the cell. Why this cell does not have nucleus? Because it needs more space. This cell needs more space to store. What does it want to store? It wants to store hemoglobin. So to give more space for hemoglobin, it does not have any nucleus. And because of the presence of hemoglobin, it is red in color. So when we say RBC, that means red blood cells or red blood corpuscles. These red blood corpuscles or red blood cells are red because of the presence of hemoglobin. And this hemoglobin is nothing but heme plus globin, where one part is heme is iron and globin is protein. Okay, so this is about RBC. What is the function of RBC? RBC is very important because it contains hemoglobin, and without hemoglobin, we cannot survive. So RBC is very, very important part of the body. RBC cells are red blood cells are very important part of the body. What about WBC? We cannot say that WBC is not so very important, because WBC is also very important. The main function of WBC is immunity, right? Now this WBC is of two types. White blood cells are of two types. What are the two types? One type of cells are called granulocytes. Granulocytes, that means it has granules in it. Another type of WBC is called a granulocyte. That means no granules in it. So the first type of granulocyte is called eosinophil. EOSINO, eosinophil. Second one is basophil. And third one is neutrophil. Remember these names. Okay. When we talk about eosinophil, what is the type of cytoplasm which is present here? Cytoplasm. What is the type of cytoplasm present here? It would be granular. What about basophil? Type of cytoplasm is again granular, because these are part of granulocyte. Neutrophil, again it is granular. What about the origin of this type of cell? Where is it formed? So this type of cells are formed in bone marrow. Even it is formed in bone marrow. And neutrophils are also formed in bone marrow. What is the type of the nucleus which is present in eosinophil? It is two-lobed nucleus. In case of basophil, it is K-shaped nucleus. What about neutrophil? It is 3 to 5 lobed nucleus. Okay. What is the percentage of eosinophil in the body? Eosinophil are only 2 to 3%. 2 to 3% of WBC is eosinophil. What about basophil? It is even lesser than that. It is 0.5. It's not minus. It is 0.5 to 1% are basophil. What about neutrophil? Neutrophil are high. They are 50 to 70%. That means most of the WBCs are neutrophils in the body. What is the function of eosinophil? Eosinophil increases in allergy. So if you get in the report that eosinophil is high, what does that mean? It means that the person may be suffering from allergy, some type of allergic reaction. What about basophil? Whenever there is basophil fluctuation in the body, it shows that there must be some injury of cells. So whenever the cells are injured in the body, basophil will increase. What about neutrophil? Whenever there is neutrophil increase in the body, it is mainly because of bacterial infection. Remember this. Isn't it simple to remember now? Simpler, right? So first understand what is the type of cytoplasm. Then you remember where formed. Then understand what is the type of nucleus present in the type of cell. Then understand what is the percentage of this particular type of WBC and what is the role of this type of WBC cell in the body. Easier? Easy to remember this chart now? Okay. Now come to the agranulocyte. Agranulocyte means this type of WBC cells which are not granular. Agranular. That means cytoplasm would be clear. There is no granules in the cytoplasm. So agranulocytes. So these agranulocytes may be of two types. One is monocyte and second one is lymphocyte. So what is the type of cytoplasm present? First point was type of cytoplasm. So what is the type of cytoplasm present here? It is granular. Where is it formed? It is not formed in bone marrow. So where is it formed? It is formed in lymph node. Even this one is granular cytoplasm. Granular cytoplasm. What is the type? Where is it formed? It is also formed in lymph node. Okay. What is the shape of the nucleus? Nucleus are K-shaped. Shape of the nucleus in case of monocyte is K-like. So the the nucleus actually looks like this. Something like this. Okay. What is the role? What is the shape of this one? Lymphocyte. It is rounded. Round in shape. Nucleus is round in shape. What is the function of monocyte? Monocytes are very important in the cell because they act like sweepers of the cell. They remove all the dead organisms and debris from the cell. So they act like sweepers. What is the function of lymphocyte? Lymphocytes are very important because these are the cells which form antibodies in the cell. Now these antibodies may be, these type of lymphocytes may be T lymphocyte or B lymphocyte according to the origin of the cell in the body. So if we just remember that monocyte and lymphocyte are granular, they are not granular, they are agranular. They are formed in the lymph node. The shape of the nucleus is K-shaped and rounded, and monocyte act as sweeper, whereas lymphocytes are the cells that will produce antibodies in the body. That means they help in protection. Major immunity is provided by lymphocytes. Okay, is this clear? Clear to everyone? Now come to the next part, and that is third part. What was the first part? RBC. What was the second part? WBC. The third part is platelets. What is the function of platelets in the body? The main function of platelet in the body is they help in coagulation of blood. What is the meaning of coagulation? Coagulation means clotting. What is the shape of the cell? They are the smallest cells in blood. Why they are smallest? Because they have to cross through, or they have to pass through the smallest area of the body, because whenever there is bleeding anywhere, they have to reach there and stop the blood from flowing. Understand? So this is the beauty of the body. This is engineering. Okay. So whenever there is any cut or any bruise, which cell has to reach that part of the body? It is the platelets. So what is the shape of the platelet? The shape of the platelet is rounded, round shape or disc shape. What about nucleus? They are non-nucleated. No nucleus. RBC was non-nucleated because it had to store hemoglobin in it. Why platelets are non-nucleated? Why there's no nucleus in platelet? Because it has to fold itself, it has to cross through minute areas, it has to reach the smallest of the capillaries, and that is why if there is a hard or strong structure like nucleus in the cell, it will not be able to perform those flexible functions, and that is why nucleus is totally absent in the cell. Okay, so this is the function of platelets, clotting of blood. Okay, name one disease which is related to this platelet. Tell me one disease. Any one disease which is related to platelet.
Dengue.
Dengue is the disease. Yes, very good. Dengue is one of the disease in which platelet count increases or decreases.
Decrease.
Hmm?
Decrease, ma'am.
Yes, decrease. Okay. So remember a few diseases related to each type of each body part. For example, RBC related some diseases, WBC related diseases, platelet related diseases. So dengue is one of the disease in which the platelet count is reducing. It may be the usual count of platelet is from 1.5 lakh to 4 lakh, something like that. So if the level of platelet reduces below 1.5 lakh, then one more disease which is very common is called purpura. That is bleeding under the skin. So you must have seen at times that there are bluish patches on the body. Injury marks. So these injury marks are not because of some external injury, but because of the rupture of vessels under the skin. So whenever there is rupture of vessels under the skin and the platelet count is low, what will happen? It will not let the blood clot easily. So blood is there under the skin, which seems like purplish, bluish in color. Okay, so this is about purpura. Some other diseases which are mentioned in the book are, for example, jaundice, anemia. All these are blood related ailments. Go through these are very important. Right now I'm not discussing these diseases in detail, but we have already discussed in our classes, but you go through the book very nicely and very well explained. Okay, so these diseases are related to RBC. Name a disease which is related to WBC. Cancer. Okay, very good.
Yeah,
One more disease. Tell me the disease which is because of increase in WBC. What is that called?
HIV.
You put it in the chat box. Don't unmute yourself. What is the condition? Understand, listen to the question carefully. What is the condition called when WBC count increases? What is that condition called?
Leukemia.
In general, what is that condition called when WBC count increases in the body? And what is that condition called when WBC count decreases in the body? When it increases, we call it leukocytosis. Yes, leukocytosis. And when its count decreases, we call it leukocytopenia. Correct. Leukocytopenia. Now, apart from these cells, there is another thing which is very interesting related to blood, and it is blood group. What is blood group? How many types of blood groups are there?
4.
How many types of blood groups are there? Put it in the chat box. Huh? Don't unmute yourself, please. Please don't unmute yourself. Put it in the chat box. How many types of blood groups are there? 4. Very good. What are the 4 types? What is the first type?
A. B.
Don't unmute yourself. Put it in the chat box. What is the first type? A. A blood group. What is the second type?
B.
B. What is the third type?
AB.
AB.
O.
Don't unmute yourself. Please keep yourself on mute so that it is easier for everyone to listen. And what is the fourth type? It is O. Very good. A, B, AB, and O. So what is the difference between all the 4 blood groups? In case of each blood group, for example, if this is RBC, okay, this is RBC. No, RH factor is not the difference between the all blood groups. Understand this. This is very important. What am I saying is, For all the 4 types of blood groups, you have RBC common in the blood. So for blood group A also you have RBC in the blood, B also has RBC, C also has, AB also has RBC, and O also has RBC in the blood. But what is the difference between the all RBCs? The difference lies between a structure that is called agglutinin, agglutinogen. Yes, correct, agglutinogen. Now, what happens to this agglutinogen in the case where blood group is A? In case of A blood group, it has a type of agglutinogen which is called B agglutinogen, A agglutinogen. So this is A agglutinogen present on RBC, so we call it A blood group. In case of B, you have an agglutinogen which is B agglutinogen. What is agglutinogen? Agglutinogen is a type of protein. It's a type of protein which is present on RBC. What about AB? It has A and B. A and B, both. What about O? It has none. So remember this for future also. What is the difference between the blood groups? Blood groups has a difference because of a type of protein which is present on RBC. This type of protein is called agglutinogen. In case of A blood group, it has A protein on RBC. If you don't remember the word agglutinogen, remember protein. So A protein is present on RBC, so we call it A blood group. In case of B blood group, there is B protein present on RBC. In case of AB blood group, it has AB protein present on RBC, and in case of O, there is no protein present on RBC, so we call it O blood group. Okay. But in case of serum, this is RBC. But in serum means the fluid part of the blood. If it is A agglutinogen, it has a complementary part present in serum, which is called beta. Beta agglutinin. Beta agglutinin. In case of B blood group, it has alpha agglutinin. In case of AB blood group, there is no agglutinin. And in case of O blood group, it has both alpha and beta agglutinin in the blood. Okay. So these are nothing but the type of protein which are present in the blood, which is making the difference between the blood group. Another type of protein which is present in on the RBC itself, which is called RH factor. So RH factor is another type of protein which is present on the RBC. So if it is A blood group, it has A agglutinogen present on the RBC. Along with that, if another factor is present on it, this another factor, if it is present on RBC, then we call it as RH positive. RH plus means RH positive. Okay. If this factor is absent, then we say it is RH negative. If the factor is present, then we say that the person is RH positive. If the factor is absent, then we say that the person is RH negative. Why we are calling it RH? RH factor, because this is a type of protein which is present on RBC. Why it is called RH only? Because RH refers to rhesus. and rhesus was the name of the monkey in which it was first identified or found out. So we call it Rh factor. So if this Rh factor is present, the person becomes Rh positive. If this factor is absent, we call it Rh negative. And only 15% of the people, 15% of people does not have Rh factor in them. 15% people does not have Rh factor on them. Okay. Correct? Is this clear to everyone? Now we come to the next part, which is also very important part, and it is the function of blood. What is the function of blood? Transport of nutrients, transport of nutrients is because of blood. If there is no blood, there is no transport of nutrients. It helps in transport of oxygen. It helps in transport of waste product. It maintains a pH of blood. Blood itself maintains a pH. It maintains the temperature of the blood. It helps in defense. And it also helps in clotting. So these are the major functions of blood. We should remember these. What is the pH of the blood? What is the pH of the blood? It is acidic or alkaline? Alkaline. Very good. What is the pH? Very good. Very good. 7.4. So 7.4 means it is above 7. Above 7. 7 is what? Neutral. So if it is above 7, it is alkaline. If it is below 7, it is acidic. It is slightly alkaline. Okay. So this was the third important chapter. What was the first chapter? Homeostasis. Second chapter, cell. Along with that, it had tissues in it. Third chapter is blood. Now we come to the fourth chapter, that is digestive system. Digestive system is one of the most important system in the body. All the systems are important. I always say this. If you ask anyone which system or which part or which organ is less important than the other, you cannot mention that. Okay. So each system is equally important, but digestive system is one of the most important system because ये तो पापी पेट है जिसके लिए हम सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, है ना? खाते किस लिए? पेट के लिए खाते हैं. कमाते किस लिए? पेट के लिए कमाते हैं. जो भी कुछ कर रहे हैं किसके लिए कर रहे हैं? इसी सिस्टम खुश रखने के लिए कर रहे हैं. सो जिस दिन इस सिस्टम से आपका ध्यान हट के किसी और सिस्टम पे चला जाएगा, दैट मीन्स यू आर इवॉल्विंग. So this system, though it is one of the most important system because it is a system where your dhatus are getting converted from one to the other, ras into rakta, and then from rakta to mas, med, asti, maja, all these are formed because of this system itself. This is a system which has the most agni in it. And this is a system which produces energy to survive. So this system, when we call it as a system, it must be having different organs in it. Where is it starting from? Digestive system starts from which part of the body?
Mouth.
हाँ, लेकिन unmute नहीं करना है. Put it in the chat box. Now learn to put it in chat box. Yes, it starts from mouth. Very good. After mouth, what is the next part? हाँ, लेकिन unmute नहीं करना है. Put it in the chat box. Now learn to put it in chat box. Yes, it starts from mouth. Very good. After mouth, what is the next part? After mouth, what is the next part? Put it in the chat box. Now learn to put it in chat box. Yes, it starts from mouth. Very good. After mouth, what is the next part? Which is the next part after mouth? Mouth is buccal cavity only. Mouth and oral cavity or buccal cavity are same. So this is mouth, or inside of it is buccal cavity. So we are considering it as one only. Mouth has different parts. For example, teeth. Very good, very important part. It has tongue. Very important part. Also, it has salivary gland. These are major parts of mouth or the buccal cavity. After mouth, what is the next part? Yes, someone mentioned right now. It is nothing but your food pipe. What is the other name for food pipe? Food pipe is also called? Food pipe is also called? Trachea is windpipe. Yes, esophagus. Very good. Esophagus. So if you can spell it as OESO or ESO. Esophagus. Both are correct. Okay. After food pipe, it continues into which part of the body? What is the next part? Very good. Stomach. What is the next part after stomach? Small intestine. Very good. SI. SI means small intestine. How many parts of small intestine are there? Very good. 3 parts. What are the 3 parts of small intestine? What are the 3 parts of small intestine? Duodenum. Very good. Second part is duodenum. Then it's not jejunum, it is jejunum. Yes, jejunum and ileum. Duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. What is the spelling of ileum? Is it ILEUM or ILIUM? It is ILEUM. Remember this. Why not ILIUM? Because ILIUM, that is ileum, that is also ileum, is a part of bone in the pelvic girdle. We have this is the pelvic girdle. It has a bone. It has 3 bones. Okay. Ileum, ischium, and pubis. These are 3 bones, that ileum, ischium, and pubis. These are the 3 bones that makes the pelvic girdle. So here the ileum is ILIUM. And in the digestive system, ileum is ILEUM. So the spelling must be correct. What is the next part after small intestine? Very good. Large intestine. How many parts of large intestine are there? 3. Very good. 3 parts. What are the 3 parts of large intestine? What are the 3 parts? Appendix, okay, but majorly, what are the 3 parts? No, it's not ascending colon. No, not transfer, neither transverse. No, descending colon. No, anal. No, it is cecum. CAECUM. Cecum is the first part. Yes. What is the next part? Colon. And the third part is rectum. Cecum, colon, and rectum. Colon, COLON. Colon. Cecum, colon, and rectum. Correct? This colon has different parts. One is ascending colon, one is transverse colon, and one is descending colon. And rectum is the part that ends in anus. So the digestive system starts with, or your gut or your gastrointestinal tract starts with mouth and ends in anus. Two holes at the two ends. Okay, two openings at the two ends. Right? If I show you, okay, what we have done. First, we understood about cell that forms the tissue. Before that, we did homeostasis. After that, we did cell, then tissue. After that, blood, different types of components. Different components are RBC, WBC, and platelets. After that, description of each type, description of RBC, description of WBC, and description of platelets. After that, we came to the diseases related to blood, then blood group, RH factor, then digestive system. Under digestive system, we understood where is it starting from, what are its different parts, where is it ending. So this is digestive system, starting from mouth. Name two most important digestive glands. This is what my next question is. Name two most important digestive glands which help in digestion. Okay, one is salivary gland. Name another gland. One is salivary gland, yes. What is the pancreas? Is not a gland. Yes, liver is one of the largest gland in the body. Pancreas also you can say at times it is called mixed gland. So you can say pancreas also. Yes, you can say pancreas also, because pancreas is one of the gland that secretes not only gastric juice but also secretes hormone, that is insulin. So it is called a mixed gland in that sense. But it is these are the organs which are helping in digestion, but it is not directly a part of gut. It is helping the gut in digestion. Now we come to one of the most important part present in the first part of gut, that is teeth. When we are talking about teeth, then we should understand the dental formula. What is dental formula? Dental formula means the formula in which you will write the type of teeth present in the mouth. So how to write it? You make a cross, and this is your right side, this is your left side. So upper 8 teeth here, upper 8 left teeth here, then 8 here and 8 here. 32 teeth, right? Now how to write it? How will you write the dental formula? You will start with this side, incisor, then canine, then premolar, another premolar, then molar, molar, molar. So you are going backward from front to back like this. So first are 2 incisors. Then you have 1 canine, 2 premolar and 3 molars. Total how many? 8. So same thing here, incisor, then canine, then premolar, then premolar, then molar, molar, molar. 8 here. Same thing here, same thing here. So this is how we will write the dental formula. This is very, very important. Not only from exam purpose, but also from your practical purpose. Okay. Now, come to salivary glands. How many salivary glands are there? How many salivary glands are there in the body? 3 or 3 pair? 3 pair, majorly 3 pair. What is the first one? What is the name of the first salivary gland? Or any of the salivary gland? Okay, sublingual. Another salivary gland? Parotid, very good. Another submandibular. So these are the 3 pair of salivary glands which are present in the mouth. Saliva is acidic or alkaline? Saliva is acidic or alkaline? It is slightly acidic. Because the pH, most of the time it varies between 6.3 to 6.8. Okay. Name the food that starts its digestion in the mouth itself. Which type of food starts getting digested in the mouth? Very good. Carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is a type of food that starts digestion in the mouth itself. Next part, after mouth, after understanding teeth and the salivary glands, now we come to the food pipe. Name the type of movement which is found in the food pipe to bring the food down to stomach. What is that type of movement called? Very good. Peristaltic. So the type of movement which is present in esophagus is called peristaltic movement. Now come to stomach. Name 2 juices secreted by stomach to digest the food. Gastric. Very good. And HCl. Gastric juice, HCl. HCl is hydrochloric acid. Name the type of cells that secrete HCl. HCl is secreted by which cell in the stomach? What is the type of cells which are present in the stomach and secretes this HCl? So HCl is here. It is secreted by which type of cell? What is that cell called? Yes, oxyntic cells. Okay. So what is the function of stomach? Stomach not only helps in digestion, but it also acts like a bag or reservoir for the food. It also helps in killing the microbes. That means it disinfects the food that you're taking in. So this is the main function of stomach. Now come to small intestine. What is the length of small intestine? How long the small intestine may be? Yes, very good. Small intestine is usually 2.5 to 3 meter long. Name the C-shaped part of small intestine. What is that part of small intestine called, which is C in shape? Very good. Duodenum. Name the part of small intestine that receives bile from liver and pancreatic juice from pancreas. Which part of intestine receives that? Very good. Duodenum. So if this is stomach, after that you have C-shaped structure of small intestine that receives bile from liver and pancreatic juice from pancreas. So this C-shaped part is very important part of small intestine because it is helping in not only in digestion but also in converting the food to simpler parts. Okay, now we come to the next part of small intestine, which has some projections to absorb the digested food. What is that part called? Small intestine. Small intestine Yes, small intestine has small structures, finger-like projections, which are called villi. So villi are finger-like small projections that is helping in absorption of the digested food. Now come to large intestine. What is the length of large intestine? How long is large intestine in general? Very good. Almost 1.2 to 1.6 meter long. Name the structure which is present at the junction of the first part of large intestine and at the end of small intestine. So if this is small intestine, which is ending here, and after that you are starting with the first part of large intestine, name the structure which is present here. What is that part called? No, cecum is this part. This is cecum. Very good. Appendix. So you have small finger-like projection present at the beginning of the cecum. Okay. So this appendix is very important because appendix is the part that has a lot of WBCs or lymphocytes. And it will protect the body from infections. What is the most important function of large intestine? Most important function of large intestine. Most important function is very good. Yes. One is absorption of extra water or excess water. So Li absorbs, reabsorbs water. What is the other function? You only mentioned, that is synthesis. Very good. Synthesis of vitamin B and K, both. Okay. And storehouse of feces. That means excreta. Okay. Now come to liver. Very big gland or the largest gland of body. What does it produce? What does it produce? It produces, very good, bile. Where is this bile stored? BILE, not BYLE. BILE. Bile is stored in, yes, in a pouch called gallbladder. What is the function of bile? What does it do? This is, yes, fat, but what? Fat metabolism. Today you will learn another word and we will use this word always from this day onwards. That is called emulsification. We will not say digestion or metabolism of fat. We will say emulsification of fat. What is the meaning of emulsification? Emulsification means breakdown of fat. So if fat is like oily substance and bile acts like soap. Okay, so this process of cutting down the fat into smaller substances is called emulsification. So we will not say digestion of fat. What is the color of bile? What is the color of this bile? Yellowish, goldenish yellow rather. Okay, why this is yellow in color? Why this is yellow in color? Stool color is also yellow. Yes, bile color is also yellow. Urine color is also light yellow. But why? Because of presence of very good bilirubin pigment. Because of presence of a pigment called bilirubin. What is the most important function of liver? Converts ammonia to urea. Ammonical substances into less harmful urea-like substances. Okay. So this was about liver. What about pancreas? Leaf-like structure. Leaf-like means structure-wise. What does it produce? It produces pancreatic juice. And it turns the food acidic or alkaline. See, the pancreatic juice is also coming to duodenum. Food from stomach is also coming to duodenum. And food which is coming from stomach is acidic or alkaline. Now my question has changed. Listen to it carefully. I said the food that is coming from stomach is acidic or alkaline? Acidic. Why acidic? Because it has hydrochloric acid in it. Okay. So when the food is coming from stomach into duodenum, pancreatic juice which is coming from pancreas turns it into alkaline. So pancreatic juice is alkaline in nature. Okay. So this is all about digestive system. So digestive system, though it is a very big chapter, but it is one of the most interesting chapter you have. Okay. Now come to the last chapter, that is food and nutrients. To understand food and nutrients, first we should understand that this food is of two types. What are the two types of food? One is called the proximate principle of food, and another is called protective principle of food. What is proximate principle of food? Protein, fat, carbohydrate are proximate principle of food. What is protective principle of food? Vitamins, minerals are protective principle of food because they are protecting us from different ailments. Now let us start with first type of proximate principle of food, that is protein. What is protein? What is the unit of protein called? What is the smallest unit of protein called? Amino acid. Very good. Protein is made up of smallest unit called amino acid. That means amino acid. So small amino acids are joining together to form protein. So this whole is protein. This is protein. And each of it is called amino acid. Okay. Why protein is important? What is the most important function of protein? What is the most important role of protein? Very good. Bodybuilding. Bodybuilding means it will help in growth. It will help in development. It will help in wear and tear. It will help in rebuilding, etc., etc. So in different forms, ultimately protein is acting like a bodybuilding substance. Yes, there are different substances which are made up of protein only. Enzymes, hormones are nothing but protein. Okay. Now come to the next important part, and after protein, it is fat. This fat is very interesting and very important because everyone is concerned about the type of fat and the amount of fat you are taking in. So there are two types of fat. One is visible and another one is invisible. Visible fat is a type of fat which is visible to you, that you're taking in. Butter. These are visible fats. What are invisible fat? For example, the type of fat which is present in almond or nuts, the type of fat which is present in milk, meat, etc. This is type of, yes, different type of seeds. So this type of fat is called invisible fat. Okay. What is the unit of fat called? Smallest unit of fat is, yes, fatty acid. Okay, also glycerol. What is the use of this type of fat in the body? Why fat is important for us? Is this fat important for us? Is fat important for us? Because this is what we think, that fat is not important for us. But yes, fat is very, very important for us. Why fat is important? Okay. The most important function of fat is, it is lubrication, not only lubrication, but it is concentrated storehouse of energy. Yes, it is storehouse of energy. It gives us energy when you're fasting, when you're not eating food. What gives you energy? This is a stored fat that gives you energy. So it is very important for us. Also, fat acts as insulation. Not helps in vitamin D synthesis, but you can say it helps, or it acts as solvent for vitamin. That means there are different type of vitamins, A, D, E, K. For these vitamins, fat acts as solvent. Okay. Next, come to the next type of component, and it is carbohydrate. What is carbohydrate? Carbohydrate is one of the most important component of food because it is the store, it will not say it is a storehouse, but it is the part of food that gives instant energy. It gives instant energy. Yes. Okay, give me a moment, please. Someone is on door. Okay. So carbohydrate gives us instant energy. What do you have whenever whenever you are in need of energy, what do you take? Glucose, right? So what is glucose? Glucose is the smallest unit of, yes, it is the smallest unit of carbohydrate. What happens to the extra glucose in the body? Whenever there is extra glucose in the body, what will happen to that glucose? No. Some part of it is excreted, but it will get excreted only after it is getting stored in some form. It's not actually into fat, but it gets converted into glycogen. Yes, glycogen. Where is this glycogen stored? Where is this glycogen stored? Liver. Okay. So this is about protein, fat, and carbohydrate. Apart from it, you have different type of vitamins, minerals, and water, which are part of the food which we take in. Okay. So this is all about 5 chapters which are there in the syllabus. In crisp form, you go through it, make notes of it, revise it, and for examination point of view, solve the question papers of previous years. Okay. So this is all for today. If you have any query, you can ask me a few questions. Thanks to everyone.